The biggest thing for me right now is I'm just trying to compartmentalize all the information just to make sure that I get it, just so I can master it within the time that we have right now.
What's up, Browns fans? Time now for another edition of Browns Working From Home, and this time my guest, Browns rookie center Nick Harris. Nick, it is good to see you again, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, trying to stay busy, working out, just head in the playbook.
I'm sure, and that's a big one. And listen, I know after your performance on Dog Pound Pop Quiz, I'm sure you can handle digesting this playbook and all the things that come with it, because as I said many times, one of the best performances we've seen on that illustrious show thus far. But what's it like for you coming in here, getting into that playbook? What are you trying to learn? And as a lot of people will say, look, the center is the quarterback of the offensive line. So you've got a lot of responsibilities that you've got to try to learn. But the good news is you did that at Washington and did it at a very high level.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing for me right now is I'm just trying to compartmentalize all the information just to make sure that, I get it, I understand it, and then I move on to the next thing, just so I can master it within the time that we have right now. So that's kind of just how I'm going about it. So, I mean, it's a lot of information, but I mean, this is what we signed up for, and it's fun. It's fun learning something new, because when you're in offense in college, you pretty much, it's the same thing for the 4 years you're there. So it's fun. It's intriguing to learn new terms and new new systems. So it's definitely been a fun experience for me, at least.
And what's it been like for you? You go into that room where there are some veterans who have been very, very successful. Obviously, you and Jedrick coming in as rookies, but I know JC Treader reached out to you right away. What's it been like kind of have a guy like JC and Joel Bitonio and even Conklin coming in who have, not only they've been in a system similar to this. I know Joel started in his career with Kyle Shanahan and Jack played very similar at Tennessee, but to have those guys reach out to you, for JC Treader to say, hey, anything I can do for you, what's that been like for you?
I mean, it's definitely big time, I mean, coming from, college, especially in the times we're in now, it's like everything's just so uncertain. So it's just cool to have, guys who have played really good football in this league, just reach out if I need anything. And, they're always open to if I have questions or anything. So it's definitely a plus to have those guys in the room, and especially for them to reach out and, make us feel welcome. And if we have any questions, they'll answer them.
Has there been a piece of advice or anything that they've given you that's really stuck with you thus far?
No, not really. I mean, all of it's good stuff, when we're talking in the O-line room and in the position meetings on here. So all of it's good stuff. I try and take as much notes as I can from when they ask questions to coach, and just so it can stick in my head, because if they're asking, I probably should know it. So I go about it like that for sure.
We do these working with homes, not just with the players, but we've also done a couple with some coaches, and one of them was Bill Callahan. And it's pretty clear to me that he was a big fan of yours. He said he teased you a little bit in the draft process, but was very happy to have you in this room. What's your relationship been with Coach Callahan? And I mean, I don't know if you could ask for a better guy to come into the NFL and learn under.
Right. I mean, definitely. He definitely has a history with, just producing O-linemen throughout his career, his long career. And he's been a great piece to have when I have questions. And he's huge on the technique side of things. And that's something I try to pride myself on in my game. So anything I have questions on, he's always open to ask. And he's just a good energy guy, just a good person to be around. And I can't wait to meet him in person so I can, kind of vibe off of him in person instead of just online. So, but so far it's been good though.
Absolutely. And he said one of the things he told us that he told you, and he tells everybody in that room, is you can't just get ready to kind of learn this year. You've got to get ready to play, because it just is a fact of life in the NFL. Offensive linemen do suffer injuries at points. The Browns have been very lucky. JC and Joel have been able to play every snap the last 2 years. But, that's I'm sure that's kind of an exciting thing in a sense, because you want to be ready, because you never know when your opportunity comes. I'll take a rookie last year. Mac Wilson came in playing behind Christian Kirksey. Kirko goes down for the season week 2. Mac starts 14 games after that. So you never know when your time's going to come. And he was our 5th round selection a year ago.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you just got to stay ready. That's kind of how, what he was saying. Just you got to prepare as if you're going to start game one, even though it doesn't, there's the projected starters or whatever, but everybody needs to prepare as if they're going to play, because you never know when your number is going to be called. So, I mean, that's kind of how I'm doing it, just trying to make sure I'm as ready as I can be until we get up to Cleveland and, get rolling.
Have you been focusing on just center thus far, or are you focusing on both center and guard?
Mostly center, but I mean, I try and learn a lot of stuff for guard too. I do a lot of positional stuff for guard, just like you said, just to be ready, because you never know what happens. And if I'm that guy that they need me to go in and play guard, I want to be ready to when that time comes. So definitely doing both. But obviously center is like where my head's at. But
sure,
doing both.
What do you love about playing center?
I just think the position kind of fits my personality. Like I'm a pretty like outgoing person, and people kind of naturally just attract me. At least they didn't. I just like having that responsibility. And I just like the vantage point of it. I mean, you're in the middle of everything. You get to see everything. You get to control the direction in which everybody's going. So I kind of like that, having that responsibility, because it kind of makes the game fun. Just having all that responsibility. So it's definitely that.
Sure. And I got to ask you, so we know you're an intelligent guy. We know that you're a nice guy. As you just said, you're outgoing, a magnetic personality. But when I watch you on tape, you're nasty. You're a nasty guy out there. You finish people into the ground. I mean, that's one word that I think immediately jumps to mind when you watch Nick Harris on tape. Finish. You finish every play. You're constantly looking for people to hit in. And for you, it's not enough to just get them and push them out of the way. You want to get them and bam, you slam them right down to the ground. So where does this mean streak come from that we see on your tape?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a switch, I have a good switch. So when I put the helmet on and the cleats on, like the whole nice guy thing kind of goes away. But that's just how I was coached in high school and college. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be coached by former O linemen, so they know what it takes to be that gritty, that nasty O lineman, and they definitely instilled that stuff in me. So I take pride in finishing blocks, and it's something I love to do. And I think that's the most fun part about playing O-line. I mean, we can't score or anything. So if when you get to do that to a defensive player, I mean, it feels pretty good. It's like scoring a touchdown for us.
That's your touchdown. You just either pancake him or take him to the ground and let him. Right. Do you let him know? Are you much of a talker on the field?
Yeah, yeah, I am. But obviously I'm gonna take it easy until I establish myself. But in college, I definitely was.
Just seeing you light up, though, when we talk about this, it's clear you love playing this game, don't you?
Oh yeah, it's so fun. I love it. I mean, that's the worst part about right now is, I can't go out and actually play it. So you really got to take the mental side of it and really perfect this stuff. So when you get to go and get back, you can just roll and just play fast and be able to really enjoy, because when you're confused mentally and confused physically, it's just not as fun. So if one side of it's good, you can just play fast. I mean, that's what I love doing, is just playing fast and, flying around. So that's something I definitely pride myself on.
Yeah, and it's something that, again, when you watch your tape, movement skills, and I know that's not what you mean by playing fast. You mean where you're not thinking and you're going, but you also do play fast on the field. You have that speed to get to the second level. We were watching one play. You guys were running a wide zone left, and you got out ahead of the defensive tackle, got second level. In fact, you almost beat the runner to the spot, so you had to turn around and find somebody to hit, and then you whack somebody out there. But, this is an offense with a lot of movement. Is that something that, you like doing? And how are you able to, because you mentioned earlier with Callahan and technique, this is a very precise offense. Your steps have to be precise. Your pad level has to be precise. How have you been able to kind of do any drills in that regard, by yourself, obviously, the guys around you, but just to kind of get your body used to the way they want you to move in a movement-based offense?
Yeah. So, I mean, luckily for me, in college, a lot of the techniques and a lot of the plays and the how we approach the angles and leverage up front it's really similar. So I mean, it's very nice that I can kind of just take that and bring it to this level. But obviously, I go out, the Coach Callahan gives us stuff to do and we film it. They give us feedback on it. So That's kind of how I've been approaching it. But obviously, like, I mean, being in this type of offense is like what I wanted out of this whole process, just because I'm such a specific type of player, especially at this position. Going through this whole process, that was just my main thing, is like I wanted to get taken, by a team who like would, maximize my potential and my talent and being able to move and run. And luckily, I got that opportunity with Cleveland, drafting me. So I can't wait to just, play, and just really get the muscle memory and get the movements down. Yeah, I'm just excited to, get out there and get rolling for sure.
Did you know when at the time you were being drafted by the Browns that you were coming into very much the zone scheme that you wanted to? Did you have that knowledge like going into it that Cleveland was running this offense?
Yeah, I had a rough knowledge like of what it was, but then right when I got picked, it's like people were reaching out to me and telling me like, "Yo, this is the most ideal spot for you. Like, you should really go in there and learn from those older guys, and be able to really like shine in that type of movement and that type of offense." So I mean, when I started hearing that from other guys, I was like, okay, this is definitely somewhere I need to be, and somewhere I can't wait to start working.
Yeah, and I know everybody's excited to have you here and be a part of this. I have to ask, because this is, I always find, one of the most interesting transitions, right? You come all Pac-12. You are the leader of that offensive line. You are probably not running the meetings, but very active and a big voice in those offensive line meetings. And then you go to the NFL, you get drafted, and all of a sudden you're the new guy in there. Here's an all-pro over here. Here's a multiple-time Pro Bowler
Right.
over here. You are certainly not leading these meetings, at least at this juncture in your career. What's that transition like, just as a player, and, kind of how have you tried to adjust to that?
Yeah, I think the big thing I try to think about is just just knowing your role on the team. Don't go in there and try and be something that they don't need or something that you're not. Just play your role, learn from older guys. If you have questions, don't be afraid to ask them. And then when those older guys, when they reach out to you, don't try and do too much. Just be yourself. Mostly, that's just kind of how I take it. Just be yourself, and then when you have that time to kind of show your personality a little bit, you'll have that time, and and as time goes and people start to trust you and you start to establish yourself, that's when you kind of take that next step in that leadership role, and that's kind of what happened in college for me. So that's how I feel as if it's going to happen. I don't know because I haven't gone through it, but
Sure.
I feel like there's some similarities in how that happened to me in college and it would have happened right now.
Yeah, and I think that would be great. That means that you're playing and you're doing well. And as you say, you have to earn a lot of that stuff, and that comes from performance
Exactly.
on the field, which is something you did very
Exactly.
well at a high level at Washington. What have you been doing just kind of for yourself during this time? I'm sure you're in the playbook all the time, but there are a lot of hours in the day. You're training. I know you're doing all that. So it's a given. We know you're working. You get the memos in those meetings. Work. That's what you're doing. But beyond that, what does Nick Harris like to do for a little bit of fun?
Honestly, like I just watch stuff on the iPad. I don't, I'm pretty boring outside of football. I don't really do that much stuff. I don't really play video games and stuff like that. So honestly, I just like watch old games on the iPad and just and just try to break it down and learn something at least. But I think that part of it's fun, and I try and do like little recovery stuff and stretch and stuff when I'm after I work out and stuff just to occupy. But I don't really do much, and the stuff I would do, I can't because everything's closed up here. So,
Right.
I kind of just try and like maximize the time I have just to, you know, gain some knowledge with the playbook or gain some knowledge to play at this level. So that's kind of what I do in the off time. I know it's a boring answer, but I
Listen,
mean,
it's a good answer.
It's the
your
truth.
career.
So.
This is your career,
Yeah.
and you want to
Yeah,
make the
that's what
most
I'm
of it.
saying.
So, yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, that's what I find fun, is watching stuff on here, because I love doing it. So that's
Yeah.
what I do.
Beautiful. I think that will serve you very, very well when you come in here and we all get together and see this team on the field, on the grass, as Coach Callahan likes to say, out there playing. Well, Nick, we don't want to keep you anymore. I know you want to probably get back to talking to me. It's fun and all, but it's not as good as watching some tape and getting into that playbook. So we'll let you do that. Again, just wanted to thank you for the time, and I'll leave you with this. Is there anything you want to say to the fans so that they can, get something you want them to know about Nick Harris?
I'm just excited, honestly, just to get up there and play in front of those fans. I mean, I've heard so much about that city. I feel like just how I am as a person and how I go about football. I'll fit right in with the people of that city. And I'm just proud that, the Cleveland gave me the chance to play football, play something I love to do. I'm excited to get to work for real. I'm tired of sitting around. I want to play football.
I'm sure you do, and we want to see that happen. Nick, thanks so much for the time, man. Really appreciate it.
No problem.